Hi guys, welcome to the Coffee Break Interview video podcast. I'm Dr. Nathan Ho and I'm your host today. Today I have the privilege to invite Dr. Emily LeTran to be on this video podcast. She's a speaker, a high performance coach, an author, a dentist that owns 2 multi-specialty group practices, a CEO Space Club president, a GKIC certified magnetic marketing advisor, and a mom. Emily, I'm so excited and honored to have you on this video podcast. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. By the way, I need to correct that. I'm the best mom in the world. So we just want to clarify that.
That's even better. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How's the weather in California?
It's getting pretty warm now where I'm at. I'm in the valley. So it's like 80 some, almost 90 degrees.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect weather to go to the beach.
Yeah, except you have to work, but.
So, Emily, can you take a couple minutes to tell us your personal and professional journey?
My personal and professional journey. Well, some of our friends on Facebook probably know me a little bit. I actually came to this country in 1981 as a refugee. And that was back in, after the communists took over Vietnam, the Vietnam War ended. So I came here with my aunt, my older brother, and a couple of cousins. My mom had passed away when I was 8. And at the age of 13, I left the country to escape the communists because they were drafting all the young men to go to war back in 1981. Vietnam was going to war with China in the north and Cambodia in the west. So my aunt was taking my cousins to leave the country to avoid a draft, and I got selected to come along because I was the oldest girl in the family, and I needed to go and help my aunt. So I left my dad, and I never saw him again. And so when we left the country, we escaped on a boat. We were one of those boat people. We came to a refugee camp, and I lived there for several months, and then I finally came to the United States back in August of 1981 and started my journey learning English, sleeping on the floor because there were 10 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment. I used to deliver newspaper early in the morning, every morning. I was making $100 a month to use that money, help the family, buy some clothes and things. And I was very driven because I saw the opportunity that I could have. When people give you that opportunity and you're able to take that and make the best out of it and do the best you can. So I actually finished my undergrad in 3 years. Wow. I was in a rush. I was in a rush. I need to get out. I need to make money. I need to help the family. I applied to dental school, so I got to UCLA. I remember back then the deposit to go to dental school for UCLA was $50, which is why UCLA was my first choice compared to some of the other dental school. And so I finished dental school, and when I came out, I was very driven. I bought my first dental practice, and then my second, and then my third, and I got married. I had 3 beautiful children. I was very blessed, learning from the very beginning, listening to back then, dental VHS tapes, right? There I was listening to Dr. Woody Oakes, who talk about how you can grow your practice by buying different ones and combining them. I was reading newsletter from the Richards Report, and then very soon after that, reading Dental Town. So I'm blessed to start learning a lot of things earlier when I started my career, and then be able to incorporate that and learn from that.
Wow, what a journey. Wow, that's great. So these days you're engaging in several things, such as being a dentist, managing 2 practices, coaching, speaking, etc. How do you find time to do all that? And what's your secret to preventing burnout?
Well, I think one of the ways to prevent burnout is to be very clear in what you need to do. And then once you are clear, then you only engage in the activities that take you to those goals. I think a lot of people are burnt out because they say yes to too many people. to too many entities, right? Yes to the spouse, yes to the kids, yes to the school, yes to the patients, yes to everybody except themselves. They forget to take care of themselves, and then they overpromise, right? And then they try to engage and do everything else to please other people, and then they feel tired. So all moms put the kids' agenda in front of their own agenda. All moms do that. But at some point, you need to realize that it's enough. When the kids were young, I know a lot of moms who want to be the most popular mom in the classroom, right? So they would always show up and volunteers and give their hours, and then from there they go to work or they go to the yoga and they do all these other activities. Or let's say a soccer mom who drive the kids to different games. For me, when I decided to support my kids, I chose the activity that I know I can commit to. So my kids, when they were younger, we weren't in sport because I don't want to be the one driving to the different sport events and I'm going to be late, right? I'm trying to leave work and I'm stuck. So now in the high school, when they can walk to school, they can be in any kind of sport they want. But not when I had to drive them around. When I was driving them around, they could only do things that would fit in my schedule, right? So I do support my kids, but I need to take care of me. And so I think partly because of that, I don't feel burnt out because I choose what I have to dedicate my time to. And I do give it 110%, but I don't promise different things to different people and then get them frustrated. I don't feel like I have to do everything. I don't feel like I need to be the most popular mom in the classroom. And so I think because of that, it's not like I'm selfish, because I'm not a selfish person at all. But one of my favorite picture, and I usually share this at my seminar, is Lucy Ball, kind of, making this face. And she says, not everyone likes me. And at the bottom, it say, but not everyone matters. So figure out who matters to you, whether it's your kids, your family, your patient, your staff, at what point in your life, how much they matter. And yes, you delegate yourself to them, but you need to take care of yourself. And that's how you prevent burnout, because once you're burnt out, you can't serve anybody.
Yeah.
You can't even serve yourself.
It seems like you manage your time really well and a lot of activities. So, but how do you find time to do so many things that you're doing right now?
It's not about finding time. I believe that it is about making time. Everybody have 24 hours. You do, I do, right? Everybody have kids. Everybody have work. I just make the time. I just say, you know what? This project is important to me. I'm going to give it X amount of time. And once I make that decision, I don't whine, I don't complain, I don't regret. Of course, I think about it carefully before I give that time, right? But I allocate the time, I make the time for it, and I'm dedicated to it. And I think a lot of people, when you, again, if you're not real clear in what's most important to you, at this moment, today or next week, it's hard to make those decisions. Sometimes you become reactive, right? Oh, this come up, this is important, we'll do that. This come up, that's important, we'll do that. For me, it would be, okay, put it there. I'm not even gonna look at it because it wasn't on my agenda. It wasn't in my priority, and I'm not gonna even look at it. I have one of my coaching clients, when we started working together, she said she couldn't leave work until, I don't know, 7 p.m. and work ends at 5, right? Because, I have to do this and I need to take care of that. And I'm so tired. I want to go to the gym, but I don't have time to go to the gym. And one of the challenge I asked her, and that's what, a lot of times that's what coaches do, is they challenge people. And I say, okay, tomorrow I want you to leave at 5:15 when the last patient leave. Just leave at 5:15 and call me back if the office burn out or somebody died or, something terrible happened, call me. The next day I got a text from her at 5:15 and she says, leaving now. Right? And since then, she always leave at around that time because she wanted to go to a yoga class. And I think it's just all a matter of making the time for that activities if it's important to you. Because if you want to make the time for work, there's always going to be work, right?
Yes.
So make the time for yourself, whether it's your own activity or your kids or your family. Make that time, give it that time. And while you're doing that, just don't worry about the rest. Be present in whatever you're making a decision to commit to. And I think that's how you avoid burnout.
That's the key right there, is to be present, right? Because sometimes
Right.
when I'm at home with my kids and I'm on the phone, and my 5-year would say, "Daddy, no phone." That
Right.
feels really bad.
Right. But when they older, you can tell them, look, when daddy's on the phone, don't talk to daddy. Right now, when she's young, she won't understand, right? But you
Yeah,
also teach the kids that, I'm with you, but if I have to be on the phone, maybe it's something important, right?
yeah,
Like maybe
yeah,
I'm going through, let's say, a loan process, like I'm doing a refinancing, and somebody's calling, and we need to, send that paper, send that, send this, send that.
yeah,
So at certain times in your life, you're involved in certain projects. You may have to take phone calls at home, but what I'm saying is don't make that the rule. So the kids know when you're home, right?
yeah.
And then if there's gonna be 2 phone calls come in. I tell the kids, you know what? Mom actually has a coaching call tonight from this time to this time, which is normally it's free time, but tonight I have whatever
Yeah.
that call is,
Yeah.
and then they learn to respect that time for you also.
Yeah. And Emily, you seem to be so excited about everything you do. But, in dentistry, after we practice for so long, 10, 20, 30 years, some of us feel stressed out, or that we feel burnout, right? So
Yeah,
how you stay in love with dentistry after 25 years?
yeah. I have my friends, my classmates telling me that all the time. You're crazy. How could you still love dentistry? 25 years later, because actually this June is going to be my 25th anniversary,
Yeah.
graduating from UCLA. And I think the secret to that is to do what you like
Mm,
only. So a long time ago, I decided that I don't like root canals.
mm,
I don't like sitting and doing a long procedure. I'm less stressed jumping from chair to chair
mm.
than sitting down and do full mouth reconstruction. Everybody's wired a little differently. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with this, and I'm not okay sitting still. So I didn't like root canals, right? So several years into practice, maybe 7 or 8 years, I say, I'm not doing root canals anymore. So I stopped doing that, right? I don't like blood splattering everywhere. So I will do your regular surgical extraction. I don't want to do PBI, FBI. It doesn't excite me. Um, I don't want to do gum surgery. It's not something. Again, I just don't like a lot of blood. I can handle the blood. I just don't see that as a joy, as a procedure that I'm looking forward to. And so there's certain things that I don't like to do, and the way I compensate for that is I bring in specialists.
Mm,
And yes, you're going to bring in a specialist. You're going to have to split the revenue, but it's better to split the revenue than have nothing. Because the other way is
yes.
to refer, patients out. So I bought my first practice in 1997. I had the first specialist working with me since 1999. So I always have specialists in the office. I take continuing education, so I know what the specialists are doing. People used to tell me, oh yeah, this ortho case is going to take 30 months and not 24 months. And so I say, okay, fine. I'm going to go learn ortho. I took USDI, which is a 2-year ortho training once a month. I came back and nobody BS to me anymore, right? Because they know that I'm learning it. I'm not doing it, but I'm learning it, and I know how long it's supposed to take. And this one is funny. I took a class in implants. I think it was AB implant system or whatever it was. And I don't like surgery, so I took this class, and they gave you the pick jaw, and you're supposed to drill, and you put the implant in. I'm sitting next to an older gentleman. I mean, he's a lot older. And he looked at me and he said, so, what did you get out of this class? And I said, it just confirmed that I don't like surgery. But I'm glad I took the class, but it just confirmed what I know already. And I look over to him and I say, why are you taking this class? And he said, oh, I just want to learn. I'm an orthodontist.
Mm,
And it just made me feel kind of bad that, that I choose not to do this. And he's an orthodontist and he wants to know how to do it. Obviously, he's not going to go, put implants in, but I can see when you have that passion, it doesn't matter if it's actually not part of what you do. You just have that passion to learn, the curiosity, the drive to want to know more, to do more. And that is the mindset of a high performer. Is I'm not just going to do the minimal. This is all I need to do, because that's where people lose interest. If you keep doing these 10 procedures and then you get bored and then you don't find anything new, or you don't have anybody that challenge you to go to the next level, to find something, that excites you, you're going to get bored. Then you get burnout because you say, you know what, okay, one more crown to do, right? One more denture to do. Those are great. To me, those procedures, the challenge of the patient, right? You may have a difficult patient coming in. That's a challenge. It'll keep you, stay awake. you don't want to go through the motion. When you go through the motion and just do the minimal that it takes, and you're good to be, I don't want to say average, but you're good to be okay. I think you're going to get burnout. And I think that's when people start looking for something more exciting to do. And sometimes what they need is just to find the excitement in what they're already doing.
Got it. Those are great insights. So if you're a performing high performance coach, if someone is already doing pretty well in their business, why would he or she need high performance coach?
Well, I think the very first thing when I talk to someone who's really doing well is to ask them what they really want. Because a lot of time when people, let's say they want to do 1 million and they already at 1 million, right? If they are doing more than 1 million, what is that for, right? Because every one of us, we set an initial goal, and then we get to that goal, and some of us, we're happy. Some of us keep wanting to do more and go more because we have some kind of ultimate goal. Maybe we want to be the best well-known clinician, among our peers. That is not something tangible, right? It's not, I have the biggest office, I make the most money. It's a recognition. Somebody who wants to be high performing is somebody who wants to compete against themselves. And so I think my job as a coach, when I first talk to people, is to see if they have that drive in them. So imagine if you're talking to Kobe Bryant, right? And whatever his shooting score is, I don't know because I don't watch basketball, but whatever his shooting score, whatever his shooting score is, imagine if he say, I'm good, right? I don't need to get any better. He's already on top of his game. But a high performer will challenge themselves to go a little bit more, a little better, right? And so if you think about it, we over here cheering a singer who's, doing more, putting out another album or whatever, a basketball player who just hit another record, a runner, Olympic athletes. But at the same time, we're just content with what we're doing. And I think that's what I want to do, is I want to get people to start thinking, how much more can I do for myself, and above and beyond that, for the community. If you're just going to be happy doing whatever you do here, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But my job is to get you to think a little bigger. And if you want to do that, then I like to be the catalyst to help you there.
Got it. I think you're the only high performance coach in the dental community, right?
I like to claim that. Well, we may all talk about it in different ways. What I do, though, is I take people through a process. We have 1 hour coaching sessions where there is a set outcome. We're shooting for something. And each session is about a particular topic. So we talk about clarity, how to be very clear. What do you want to do with your life, right? Not just, I want to get to $1 million. Okay, no. More, right? More than that. What is it beyond $1 million? Energy. How do you stay awake and enthusiastic from the 9 o'clock patient to the 6 o'clock patient? This morning I woke up at 5. I left the house at 6, drove to Malibu, took 2 hours, spoke for half an hour, drove back, and we're doing this. I got back to the office at 11:30. We're doing this, and then I'm going to head to work. And I like to think that I look as good as 6 o'clock this morning. and that comes with intention. That comes with self-training, right? So energy, productivity. Everybody have a different definition of productivity. My definition for productivity is it has to link to results. It's not checklist. It's not being busy. What are the results? If you do 10 things a day, which one of the 10 things actually produce income?
Mm.
Because if they're not directly producing income, maybe you shouldn't be the one doing them. And that's just something that you have to figure it out yourself. We talk about persuasion mastery. How do you talk to a patient? How do you talk to an associate? How do you talk to your staff to get them to agree with you, right? Provided that you have good intention, right? And we talk about purpose. We talk about how you can make a difference in life. What's a bigger mission for your life? And so it's 12 sessions that I take people through. And by the end of that, they're going to be more engaged. They're going to have heightened level of confidence. They're going to enjoy their life more. And so I'm not going to say, okay, I'm going to help you get to your $1 million, right? I'm going to help you get to your best self, because you already have the right mindset. You have that energy, right? You have the ability to persuade people. You have the ability to be very productive. You have the courage to deal with the most difficult situation. All of those things make you a better person. It maximizes your personal potential. And then you can really go and tackle anything. And
Yeah.
it's a matter of then what is it that you want to do? You know, but I want to say that I help the person fix themselves, right? Understand themselves, looking inward into themselves and getting themselves to the next level. That's what I do as a high performance coach.
Got it. So what is your success formula?
My success formula?
Yes.
Are really the high performance habits.
Mm.
Yeah. So there are 6 main pillars to high performance. There's clarity, being really clear in knowing who you are, what you want to do, what you want to be, how to get there. Energy, having the energy to go through the day. Productivity, being very protective of your time, having clear priorities. Don't work on other people's agendas, like email or other people's agendas. Courage, having the belief, overcome the limiting belief that maybe I can't do this. You know what? I can't talk to this manager. She's going to quit. I can't tell this doctor this, right? Like, because once you are very clear in what your goal is and what your values are, you should not be so hesitant to talk to people and communicate to them what you want. As long as you're reasonable. Of course, there are always people who, takers and people like that. But when you're very clear in what you want, then, and you know that you're doing the right thing because of your core values, then you have the courage to ask, right? I ask for a lot of things all the time. And I think a lot of time people say yes to me because they do see that I have a drive and I have a passion. Like, who in the world just email Dr. Farhan and say, I want to be on your podcast? I mean, I don't know of anybody who does that. An unknown person, which is me. So I just emailed to him and said, can I be in your podcast? And the next thing I know, I was on his podcast. Right? And then he put me on his magazine 2 times. And I think it's because he sees the drive, right? So
yeah.
There's courage, there's influence. How to position yourself as an expert. We are all expert in our own way, but how do you position yourself as an expert so you can leverage that position to do what you want? So, for example, I position myself as a speaker. 3 years ago, when you met me, I'm a dentist. That's the only title. Well, dentist and best mom. Best mom's always been there. And I was sharing this morning, I was a speaker as a dentist, and that means I'm only speaking to the patient. And a lot of time I can be very influential, especially if I have a needle in my hand. But, but now, how is it that I can say, you know what, I'm an international speaker? Because I traveled to a couple of countries and I spoke there. That took a lot of guts, right? That took a lot of courage. That took a lot of training. But because the drive is, I want to get this message out. I really want to talk to people. I want to help people do what I want. If they don't want to do it, it's perfectly fine, right? But do what you want, as in do more, do better, and follow your passion and your dream, right? So there's influence, and then there's the necessity. The necessity part is your drive. Why do you want to do your best? If you think about it, think about our military people. They have that necessity to perform when they go out on the battlefield, right? I mean, that's the only thing that they need to do, like go fight and stay alive, right? How do we do that with our own personal life? If today, this is my goal, how do I get to it fast? The most effective way, right? Like you have that drive to do your best rather than going through the motion like we talked about earlier. Because I know you know people who get up really early in the morning, and the next thing you know is they're doing things. I have a friend in Connecticut, and when I first came back from India, I had jet lag. So I couldn't go to sleep, right? And I would stay up until 3 because I just could not go to sleep because of jet lag. And I would see him posting on Facebook because it's 6 a.m. where he is, because he's in Connecticut. And I would be like, oh my God, Chris is already up. He's already posting. And he's like that, 6 a.m. He's already there, doing all these things. And so those are the people, they have that necessity, they have that drive to do their best, right? That's versus if you say, oh, I have to wake up tomorrow morning because I have this call or whatever. How do you do it where that becomes your way of life? And it's not because I have to do it. So the whole idea of high performance is to make high performance your way of life. And then you take that and you apply it to whatever you're doing, whether you're doing dentistry, you're doing retail, you always think as a high performer.
Wow, I learned so much from you already. And it's just about 20-25 minutes. Thank you so much. I'm sure so many members will learn so much from this podcast. But for someone that been in business for 10-15 years and they're feeling stressed out right now, right? What's the first thing that they should do? Should they hire a coach like yourself, or should they try to identify the problem and try to fix it by themselves?
Well, I think it's like if you're a student, if you don't know how to do a problem, do you sit there and try to figure it out? Or do you call your friends? Probably call your friends. Or do you call your friends who get better grades than you? Or do you reach out to the teacher, right? It all is up to you how fast you want to fix this or figure this out. Now, if you're going to call your friend, you're not going to call the friend who does exactly like who get the same grade as you. Right? If you're a B student, you're going to try to call an A student, right? Yeah. So I see those people as, somebody who has more experience, who knows a little bit more, right? They already figured that part out. So I think as, let's say as dentists, we stressed out, right? The self-help part would be, I would say, to go learn from a webinar, to go read in a journal. There's always articles that tell you, that give you some strategies. Now, if you're like me, reading is one thing, talking to someone is a little bit different. So everybody's wired differently, right? So some people can read that and go apply. Some people need somebody to talk them through. So for example, the way I work, if somebody call me and talk to me, it's about the conversation. Where are you at? What are you struggling with? And I give them some ideas on how to fix that. And as you all know, challenges, problems are always there, right? You make more money, you have another set of problems. You make more money, you have another set of problems. They never go away, right? So having somebody like a coach or a mentor is just somebody who's been through that, and they will give you, first of all, a different perspective. And the second thing is they can lead you to think about other strategies, because it's not consulting, right? Consulting is when they just give you the answer.
Yeah.
A coach will ask you questions to help you figure out the answer.
Got it.
That's the difference. So I think if somebody is stressed, let's say I'm stressed, right? And I've been out for 10 years. Let's say I'm in a Facebook forum and I pose a question and there's 30 answers, right? Personally, I don't think I'm going to take all 30 answers as correct, because I don't know who's who. I'll probably read, if I know certain people who have more experience than me, I'll probably read those threads. I'm not going to read everybody's answer because I don't know who's who, right? And everybody have a free opinion. So I would look for support from a peer group, but again, you have to be selective in who you listen to, because everybody have a good heart and they want to give you their tip, but you just don't know where they're coming from and what kind of challenge and what kind of mindset do they have, right? So just kind of be careful with that. And then you can certainly reach out to different people in the profession. Like, let's say somebody reach out to me, like I said, it will be a conversation. The conversation is really about clarity, to understand, for them to understand where they're at, and for them to kind of figure out where they want to go. And then we can talk about, can I help serve them to get to where they want to go?
Got
and,
it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. If if anyone needs help, how can they contact or connect with you?
Well, they can go to my website. My website is dremilylletran.com, DREMILYLETRAN.com. I think there's a button on there that's click, to connect with me. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you a short questionnaire for you to fill out, to kind of, for you to gauge where you're at. It will ask you some questions, and then that form will be sent to me. And I will contact you so we have a starting point, right? Or they can always email me if they want to just email me directly. It's Emily@exceptionalleverage.com. They can just email me and say, hey, can we talk? They can text me on my cell phone, is 626-808-5762. And then I'll just text them back, busy right now. No, just kidding. Seeing patient right now, let's connect later. And we set up a time and we just talk, right? I think the most important thing is to recognize that you're in a place where you know that you could do better.
Yeah.
Right? It's hard to convince the perfect people. And I know a lot of perfect people. Or they think they're perfect. I think when you think you're perfect, you just haven't put yourself in a different room.
Yeah.
If you're the smartest one in the room, you should leave the room, or you should lead the room, right? You don't want to be a member in the room and you're the smartest one. It doesn't serve you well. And so a lot of time, I think when I hear people saying that they're already on top of the game, that's okay, right? But to me, everything is relative. You can always do better. You can always learn from somebody who's done either a different way or they've done better than you. And that's why I appreciate Facebook groups like Dental Win-Win, right? And you hear somebody sharing something and you say, great, that I think I can get there. I'll tell you a quick story. I was at a dental meeting one time. I was working with a consultant, and at the beginning of every meeting, he would say, turn to the person next to you and share your best win, right? So I turned over to this young doctor. I mean, he's younger than me, and I said, okay, so yesterday the periodontist come in and we did a $13,000 day. And the win is I wasn't there, right? So he looked at me and said, oh, that's really good, Emily. Yesterday, I did a $30,000 day. and we both felt good, but if you think about it, I was already feeling pretty good. But when I hear what he says, I know that I could do better.
Yeah.
Right? it's almost like, okay, so now how do I do a $30,000 day without me being there? Right? So when you're in a room, when you're in a group, or when you're in conversation with somebody who's always challenging you, right? Asking you the questions to make you feel that, you know, I think I can do better. I think that's a blessing. And whether you want to take advantage of that or not, that certainly is up to the person. But I think the worst thing is to be in company of everybody who just say, "Oh, you're doing great, you're doing great, you're doing great." Because you do that one, that's pretty good. But every time you see people and that's all they're telling you, you're not going to get any better because they're not challenging you, right? Yeah. I see friends, my local friends, and the greatest compliment is, I so enjoy how you've grown up. Because they knew me as just a dentist, and now I'm out networking, and I know people, and I connect people, I put people together where they can help each other out and collaborate. That's a long way from where I started. And when people start recognizing that and they know you do it genuinely, they will help you grow. So I think the most important thing that anyone could do, right, is to put yourself in a place where you're going to be challenged, where you're going to be supported, challenged not to knock you down, challenged in the sense that to tell you, you know what, you could do better. You could get it to the next level. Maybe you should start this. Now, if your core values and you're very clear in what you want, it doesn't mean you're going to take all the challenges, right? Because sometimes people just say it just to mess you up. But if you know exactly where you are and that is in line with what you want, you will take on that challenge. You're going to do the next thing. And you're going to be surprised that, to look back and see the journey that you've been through, that you've grown. And I've just been very blessed in working with some experts, some mentors who, how they say they see in you more than what you can see in yourself, right?
Yeah.
And they pull that out of you, and they get you to function at a higher level. And I would encourage everybody to seek out that person or that support group, and just give it a try, because I think you're going to be much happier with your best self.
Got it. So we don't have much time left, but I have one more question for you. So
Okay.
if someone were to be in their 40s, 50s, or 60s, or even 70s, and they feel like it's too late to change or too late to do anything new, what would you say to that person?
I don't think there's any time that is too late to do anything new. A lot of time what I ask people, when was the last time you did something for the first time? And if you can't think of it, I'll give them a challenge. I've been to dental conference, one of the dental conference I go to, TBSC, and I met a dentist, and I want to say he's in his 80s. And they brought him on stage, and he's still seeing patients. I don't know how much he can see, but he's still seeing patients. You look at that and you're asking yourself, okay, I'm going to be 50 this year. I got 30 more years to go to be just like him, right? The doctor who sold me one of my practice, he's just turned 90.
Wow.
And his son is also a high performance coach. His son is actually a psychologist. And his son would do a Facebook Live with the dad. And so I got on the Facebook Live, and the son told the dad, okay, you see all those people? They're all watching you. And he's doing this at 10 a.m., right? And the dad looked at the camera, and he's a dentist. Well, he used to be a dentist. And he said, you people, go back to work. It's a good thing I can't see you. I would report you. Go back to work. and you look at that, and, he's 90. He just renewed his driver's license. I think I'm going to stay home when he drives. But, those you look at those individuals, and then somebody asks you, well, I think it's too late to change, or I'm set in my ways, whatever their excuses or their mentality is. I challenge them to find those kind of people to just say, you know what, I'm young, I can still do that. And I guess it's my blessing that God has put certain people in my path, so I see these people, and I see a long future ahead of me, like 90 years old, and you're on Facebook Live and you're talking like this. It just it's just mind-boggling. And then you have somebody who say, I can't do it. I don't feel comfortable. I don't know how to do it. My challenge there is, have you even looked for help? Right? Maybe your friend, call your friend and talk to your friend, right? I mean, I seek out certain mentors because I'm curious, because I want to do better. And I think we all have that curiosity in us. It's just time to rekindle that, to get it out of you, to start wanting to learn more. And I'm not talking about let's go learn how to do real estate. I'm not talking about that. to rekindle the passion that you have with your own life and your own profession, right? I think you should do best in what you're already doing first before you start going out and do other things.
You know what, Emily? You're such an amazing person. From now on, whenever I'm stressed out or whenever I lack in energy to go to the gym, I gotta think of you, okay, to motivate me to do those things.
Well, it's training yourself to think like a high performer.
Yeah.
Where after a while, you start challenging yourself. And then when you talk to your coach, they challenge you some more. But you got to challenge yourself first, right? You got to ask yourself that question. Like, let's say it's you and you've done, I don't know, let's say 100 push-up already. You tell yourself, Nathan, do 110 today. And see if you can. It's a challenge that you issue to yourself.
Yeah.
And if you need help, that's what a coach is for, to give you a different perspective. Yeah. And to challenge you to think a certain way and hopefully to set a role model for you.
Yeah, got it. Thank you so much, Emily. You're such an amazing person. It's been truly a privilege to have you on this Coffee Break interview video podcast today. Thank you so much for sharing your story and all the great advice. Thank you again. And until next time, take care.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me on the show. I really appreciate what you do for the dental community with your big heart. And I know you're busy just like everybody else, but you make time to do the interview, and then you make time to create a video, and then you make time to put it out there and share with other people. And so you're already a high performer, right? Because you make time to do all that. And I want to thank everybody for watching the interview, and may the floss be with them.
Thank you, Emily.
Okay,
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.